Welcome to the Monday, the last day of judging for ETHOnline. It's been an incredible month already. We've had 700 hackers from more than 65 countries and 19 time zones join the event. We had more than 1,000 applications for this, making it our largest online hackathon ever by a large margin. We've had 175 projects so far submitted for the event. And we're going to see probably another 50 in total today from across all the different rooms. Quick notes about the format we're using today. So as all the hackers know, you have a demo video that you've submitted, and the max time for that video is 4 minutes. And then after that, you have 4 minutes for Q&A with the judging panel. So the way this will work is when we start your video, I'll be running a timer, and I will send messages to the chat as that time ticks down once you're into the Q&A, and then we'll wrap at the end of 8 minutes. We will be taking a break partway through, so judges, you can let me know if you want to take a break at a certain point. Otherwise, I'll just pick an arbitrary point towards the middle of the session. We'll take a little rest for coffee refills. So criteria, the judges have just finished a briefing, and all of our judges are very experienced from our hackathon, so they know this very well. But the criteria that the judges will be looking at today cover 5 different domains. One is the kind of the technical strength of your hack. Another is the originality. Is this a new idea that we're seeing? Another is practicality, UI, UX, and finally, wow factor to kind of cover, is this really impressive? This really a special hack that's, there's something about it that's not covered by these other categories. So that's what the judges will be looking for today. I want to emphasize that this is not a competition. Of course, we have prizes and there will be finalists, but at ETHGlobal events, we really want to emphasize always that people are here to learn. Not everyone is here to launch a company, launch a product. Sometimes hacking is just for fun or just to experiment with an idea. So at the end of the day, we want you to get valuable feedback and support from the judges and have them help you understand what you can do next, whether it's working on this project or something else in the Ethereum space. And our judges today who are joining us, we have Spencer Noon from DTCC, Mintal from Consensys, and Joyce from Global Coin Research. So thank you, all 3 of you, so much for being part of this today. I really appreciate you giving up your time to talk to all of our hackers and hear about what they've been working on for the last 3 weeks. Okay, so let's jump into our first demo. So the first hack we're going to see is, sorry, I'm pulling up the window. I believe it is Squad Chess. And we've got Jesse and Ezra. I'll let you take it away and play your demo.
Hello, and welcome to our ETHOnline Hackathon presentation for Squad Games, a network for user-generated video game mods. We think that games should be designed by their players, and there are examples of this being powerful in the past. We think support that. Our approach to building this is to borrow the innovation engine of YouTube and other internet products and apply it to games. So we're letting users contribute things, maps, modes, arts, any kind of mod, and letting them earn when their contributions do well, and letting players choose between sets of contributions when they play that define their experience of the game. There's 3 core pieces of this engine. One is that anyone can add a contribution. The second is that we're trying to align incentives so that creators and players are incentivized to create and use contributions they think are going to be popular. And lastly, effective curation. So we want to use market data to help players find the ways they'll most enjoy playing. For this hackathon, we focused on a pattern we're calling a constant purchase price with dynamic backing. This works by letting people buy a license for a constant price, but backing that license using a dynamic amount of an asset on a bonding curve. The reason that we did this was because having a constant price we think provides a good user experience. People want to pay the same thing for the same result. But it also provides a nice incentive. Licenses can be sold, the value goes up with supply, so there is an incentive to discover underused contributions and bring them to light. There are a few flows that are important. One is the user that can send the constant purchase price to a controller smart contract, which will mint backing tokens, lock those in an NFT license, which it gives back to the user. They use that to play the game. Another one is the contributor that is adding a new contribution and setting the fee they're going to get every time a user buys a license for that contribution. Now we'll go into a demo of Squad Chess. So in this demo, I'm going to quickly, on fast speed, go through creating a new contribution for a format of chess, just changing a few pieces, and setting the purchase price and contributor fee. And then we will see that created in the game and buy a license for it. And then we'll do a quick demo of a live game played against myself. Hopefully that went well. What we're looking at next for this project is a Season 0 experiment for Squad Chess, which will be a competition. And long term, we do want to keep building this, so we're trying to gather community and resources. So please join us on Discord if you're interested. Lastly, thank you for listening to our presentation.
Thanks, Osman and Jesse. Over to the judges for questions and comments.
That demo went a little fast for me. Can you just describe quickly what you did there during the demo?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm allowed to talk now, yes?
Yes, yes.
Video off? Is that a rule? Sorry, I don't know what the rules are.
Oh yeah, please open your videos. That'd be great.
Okay.
I mean, but of course, up to your own.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I just wasn't sure whether it was, maybe it was like a, you don't want to judge people on how they look or something. Yeah, so what we did in the demo was create a new contribution. So in the case of chess, that means basically like a new starting board and starting position with whatever pieces you choose. So we created that, and that includes setting how much you want it to cost and how much of a fee the creator wants to charge. So submitted that. Then I bought that contribution, which means buying a license to let you play, basically. And then I played a game against myself using that new format that I'd created.
So you bought the license from who?
From the system. I mean, it's an automated.
Got it. And that's the constant price.
Right. So in this case, right, I think I chose 10 of our token that we deployed just for this, 10 tokens to buy a license. What that does is I pay 10 tokens to the controller contract. The controller gonna take those 10 tokens, which is always 10 for that contribution, and buy whatever amount that buys out of a bonding curve. So that's gonna change over time, right? It could be more, it could be fewer. It's then gonna use whatever amount it buys from the bonding curve to lock into an NFT, and that NFT is going to be given back to me and is my license. That's what the game is checking to give me permission to play using that format.
Sorry, I'm probably a little slow. So what is the controller buying?
So yeah, it is a bit. I mean, maybe I should. I don't.
You go back to the slide that you showed us.
Yeah, I don't have
had
the
users
open,
and the controller.
So I don't know if I want to waste the time. Maybe I could just get that part of the video. And then yeah, here. Okay, so I'll share this again, and then we can look at it.
Yeah, I think while you're doing that, there's a bonding curve factory that mints a new bonding curve for every contribution, and that acts as an automated market maker for those tokens to get locked in the NFT license.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
cool. Let's use examples, guys, if you don't mind. I think that'll go really quick. Like even
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
chess example, right? Like what's a mod?
Yeah, so in the case of chess, it's a new starting position for chess. So whatever shape board and whatever pieces you want in whatever positions, and that's the position that people are going to start in. It could be kind of anything else. That's just what it is for chess. Pretty simple. So you create a new one of those, and you say that you've basically created a new chess game, right? A new way of playing chess, and now people can buy a license that gives them permission to use it. And the way that works is they pay whatever the price is. It's a constant price that goes into the controller. The controller is going to use that amount that they paid in to buy out of the bonding curve that's specific to that contribution. That's where it's not constant, because the amount of that bonding curve token you're going to get for that constant price depends on the supply of the bonding curve token. And whatever amount it gets back of the bonding curve token, it's going to lock into a license, which it gives back to you. And the effect that has is, let's say that my 10 die gets me a license that has 5 bonding curve tokens locked into it. And then a week from now, the bonding curve token price has gone up a lot because the supply has gone up. I can actually now sell, like redeem and sell the tokens in my license. So I could basically burn the NFT, get back the bonding curve tokens, then sell those back to the curve to get back my die, and I would get back more, basically, if the contribution had become more popular, even though everybody's buying it for the same constant price. Hopefully that's a decent explanation. So basically, it lets you have an effect where the purchaser is always paying the same price, but you're still getting some of the incentives of it being treated like an investment.
So the way you thought about creating this game originally with chess was that instead of kind of starting off with the kind of the black versus white chess pieces in their original, traditional places, you want to start it out with the pieces actually being set anywhere we want, and that's how you start the game with.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, chess is a pretty arbitrary example. Like you could do this with any game, actually any kind of software. The reason we chose to do this kind of thing at all is because we have seen in games, and I think we all have this experience, like making up our own house rules to play basketball with our friends or something, that people like coming up with their own rules, and this is kind of how games get innovated, and there's a lot of value created there, and that value is kind of locked out of the existing video game industry and a lot of other things too, but we saw the opportunity to do something cool with video games.
Great. Thanks, Ezra, and thanks, Jesse. That's all the time we have for Q&A, so we'll have to move on to the next hack. But thanks for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Thank you.
So, okay, our next presentation is from Fund My Musician. I think we've got you on the call now, so you can go ahead and share your demo.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Son and I'm a full stack developer. I built this decentral app called Fund My Musicians where fans can donate tokens to their favorite musicians. So right now many musicians are struggling to make money because of the pandemic. They do not have the budgets to promote their music or they lack marketing skills, and fans do not know how to send money to their favorite musician to support them. So the solution I came up with is to build a dApp app where fans can purchase ERC20 called FFM, which is like a token, like currency, and fans can support their favorite musicians by donating tokens, and musicians can upload their music for fans to see, and fans can sell this token for funds. So in the future, I will create features where fans can earn this token by sharing the links to the musician's music or sign up for the newsletter. And I will implement gas station network to cover the gas fees. especially when fans are donating tokens to the musicians, and musicians can use these tokens to promote their music on newsletter, and also create a feature where fans can buy this token with Bitcoin, DAO, or other cryptocurrency instead of using Ethereum. And the technology I use for this project is public gateway, where I deploy my contract to the public botchain, and my tokens follow the ERC-20 standards. And on the front end, I use React, and I store the musicians' data on Firebase, and I use Solidity to create smart contract. Now it's time for the demo. So here's the homepage of the app. And let's say if you're a user and you want to buy tokens, you can click on this link, and then here's your information, and you could buy let's say 1,000 tokens, and then it costs 0.03 ETH, and click on purchase, and then you confirm, and now you have 1,000 FMM. And now you can click on musician to see a list of musicians, and let's say you want to support Brian, so you can click on his page and click on, there will be the tag and the musician, and click on the tokens, and say you want to give him 100 tokens. You click on send, and then confirm, and now you gave him 500 tokens. And let's say if you like his work, then you can click on like button, and then it costs like 1 token, and you click on confirm. Now has some likes, and then every time, and then the more likes he has, then we will put the music on the top page of this, on the list of musicians. You see, he got put in the top. Before it was Steve Ball, though, now it's Brian Logan. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, this is cool. I wanted to ask, why did you think of using tokens instead of like, I guess in the US you see a lot of platforms like Patreon that funds musicians through, without tokens, right? What's the thought behind using tokens?
Yeah, so they can like, maybe they can like, musicians, they can use tokens like to promote their music. So we will have like a newsletter where we will put their music, and then send email to all the bands that sign up on our newsletter.
Yeah, maybe
And,
follow on Joyce's question. Like, this is super cool. It reminds me of a project that launched last week, Audius, which you should definitely. But presumably also, you had a FMM token as opposed to just using straight like Bitcoin or Ethereum or DAI, because you have some additional functionality that you plan to utilize with the token. So what other features such as like the newsletter do you think can be enabled by the FMM token?
our features, what's the
Like how do you combine the token and the newsletter, and how have the newsletter help promote the token, I guess? Is that what you meant? Okay.
Yeah, did you maybe like, have any, obviously there's a time limit with the project, but did you sort of look into maybe using NFTs for collectibles or loyalty?
I was thinking about using the non-fungible token, but I didn't have time, and I didn't have that much experience. But that's something I will do in the future.
Cool.
How long have you been building Solidity and just as an engineer?
I've been already knowing it for like 1 month or about 2 months. Yeah.
That's cool.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
What was the most fun part about building this project?
just learning like create contracts and then deploy to the public blockchain. That was pretty cool. I learned during when I built this project. I learned how to deploy.
Got it. That's really cool.
Why music? I guess why did you feel like this was a need in the industry?
Oh, because like during the pandemic, like there's not that much like there's like street performers. Usually they have like people around to donate, and then ever since the pandemic hit, now there's not much people outside. So maybe musicians they don't have any crowds or any fans to like give money or to perform. So it made it hard for them to make money. And I was like trying to help them out, maybe make this platform where fans can donate like some finance or cryptocurrencies or money to them to support them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Are you thinking about continuing with the project? And
yeah, I'll try to make it better.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for being part of ETHOnline. It's awesome to see people who are relatively new to Solidity build something in only a few weeks. Thanks so much.
yeah, thanks, Song. Thanks for the demo.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to our next demo, the next team up is rpc-network. And I understand that I think they're going to respond to questions in Mandarin, and Joyce, you're going to translate where possible.
I will. Min is here too. Min speaks Chinese.
Great.
That's awesome.
All right. Hello, RPC Network. Please go ahead and play your demo for us.
Am I supposed to translate that? No, right?
The demo?
No. Just like if you want me to give them instructions or translate anything that you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Maybe go ahead. Is it Eric? If you want to play your demo.
What's his name? Eric?
I have Eric Ma, looks like.
Eric, 你现在在那里吗？
在
对，他想看你的那个 demo，你 demo 有吗？
这个是我展示吗？我刚才
对对对，可以
进来的时候，
展示了。对对对，可以。
我进来的时候说你们帮我展示啊，我听错了吗？
现在你能从你的电脑上面展示吗？
我打开。
He said he thought you guys were the one demoing for him, so he's pulling it up now, I think.
Okay.
Wait, Josh, do you happen to have the demo too, or you're expecting them to demo?
I can play it if he can't. It will just. Okay, Jacob, do you want to do it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Okay. Eric 他们现在就是开始帮你展示了一下，他们这边也有可以帮你的。
Sorry, I feel like I don't have the audio driver installed, of course.
All right, let me know.
You can hear this.
It's a decentralized node service according to the DV P2P to find the nodes. This will reduce the network node, and if you run the full node with OpenRPC, you will get the rewards. Second, we will bring post consensus need to be introduced to detect whether the node is running. It will serve depth and Ethereum underlying big chain. Okay. Let's run nodes. First, I will run this command. 刚刚 dir date. It will filter network RPC nodes. It will use DVP2P find nodes. Then it dial. This is my find mainnet node. Let me see. Mainnet node, response node, gallery node. I will die node with default RPC point 8545. This is I find a node. URL 207.244.143.147. Let me wait a while. This time the node is imported. Okay, it have nodes wait in this wait in it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So we'll turn over to the judges for questions and comments.
那我先开始吧。您这个project 是从就是这个项目是从哪里开始就是觉得这个是有对这个有市场需求的？
因为那个 Consensys 的 infrastructure API 是比较中心化的，然后我想就是复用网络中的 RPC 节点，然后保证这个发交易的去中心化，就是每个人都能有自己的节点去发交易。然后我还想引入一种机制，然后让那些运行全节点的人可以拿到奖励。因为在以太坊2.0里面，它需要每个 big chain 都需要连接一个 1.0的节点，然后这样这个节点是不够的，所以说我需要一种激励全节点的一种机制，但是就是让他们去提供一些 RPC 的接口，就可以让别人都能自由的发交易。
So quick translation that that I think I got. I asked him why, what's the thought behind that project, and the reason why he's building this project. He says it's Consensys API is centralized, and he wants to maintain a way to kind of distribute rewards and kind of enhance the distributed attributes, I guess, of the ecosystem. And he said that the ETH 2.0 beacon chain requires that it needs to be connected to the ETH 1.0 node. So then this is a way to enable that folks get rewarded by using the RPC network.
Joyce, should I speak in Mandarin or English?
You should speak Mandarin. I mean, definitely please speak in Mandarin. So I don't know how to do the translations.
谢谢你。这个产品你打算卖给谁？谁是你的顾客？
因为现在有一个 Pocket Network， 但是我看了一下他那个方式，他和我的是不一样的。我是需要激励复用网络中的节点，他那个只是需要别人搭节点，我这个还可以复用网络中的节点，我就可以因为区块链需要多个节点才能保证去中心化，如果你的节点很少的话，网络安全性就很低。
好，谢谢你。I asked， 对不起。
因为我是第一次参与马拉松，所以那个 PPT 我也没准备好，然后可能下次我希望我能准备好一点。
很好，谢谢。I asked who their target clients are, and I think they said they were going after a similar market as Polkadot, but with clients who preferred something more decentralized. Joyce, did I get that largely right?
就是现在这个 RPC network 就是想去 reward 一些那个你想让更多的人来 participate 在这个上面这个节点上面，对吧？然后 earn a reward 是这个意思，对吧？
对。
那你的 target 的话，
让别人就把那个 RPC 都打开嘛，就是可以自由的发交易。
那你这个现在是在亚洲市场觉得这个有这个需求，还是就是整个国际上你觉得现在就是整个这个我们这个平台都是有这个需求的？
首先为什么以太坊的轻节点没有推广起来嘛？因为全节点赚不到钱，赚不到轻节点，就是你给轻节点提供服务的话，就没有这个 token 奖励嘛。所以说还是需要一种机制，让别人提供一下这种就是运行，好比我可以支持轻节点的连接，然后我可以把我的 RPC 端口打开让别人使用，这都是一种服务需要去经济去激励的嘛。
So he's I asked him whether he's wanting to see if there's a kind of need in the Asian market or the kind of the global market, but he's saying that generally a lot of centralized nodes don't really get rewards. So this is the way for folks to participate in nodes and make rewards.
Okay. So that is all the time we have for Q&A.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being part of ETHOnline and for submitting your hack.
就是谢谢你在这个参加这个马拉松，我们觉得就是有更多的国际 就是人才来参加，然后了解这个项目，然后了解 Ethereum 也是一个很好的事情。所以说也是就是感谢你的努力吧。我们现在还是继续在学习，然后了解你的项目，好吗？
Thank you.
好，谢谢。
Thanks.
OK， 拜拜。
Okay, so the next project is Kotanipay. So Steve, I think you're on the call already. Please go ahead and play your demo for us. Steve, if there's supposed to be audio, I don't believe it's coming through. Is there audio with the video?
No, can we put the pre-recorded?
Right, is there audio in the video? You might have to stop sharing and then make sure you click the button that says share screen audio.
Okay. Can you press stop share for me?
So there's a button that says share computer sound. You want to make sure that's checked, and then we can hear the audio from your video.
Hello and welcome to Kotanipay, a middleware technology connecting USSD applications to the blockchain. Of the 770 million Africans registered on mobile network services, 440 million are connected through feature. While blockchain applications are built with smartphone users in mind, USSD is the primary interface for feature phone users in the developing world. It has the following advantages. There's no need for application installation, there's no need for internet access, and it is simple to use. So, what is Kotanipay? Kotanipay is a technology stack that utilizes USSD technology to enable blockchain protocols, dApps, and blockchain fintech companies to integrate seamlessly to local payment channels, providing a reliable on-ramp and off-ramp service to the wide customer base. The current version of Kotanipay is integrated to the Celo blockchain. It allows for Celo-to-Celo transfers, Celo to local currency withdrawals, local currency to Celo deposits, with SMS notification with URLs to view on-chain transactions, and a Kotanipay DeFi network. The Kotani DeFi network promotes financial inclusion by giving users access to a range of financial services. It is a decentralized mobile money service owned by Kotanipay wallet users and agents. It provides several advantages, including 1. A low cost of transactions as users move value between crypto and fiat currency. 2. Efficiency. DeFi lending pools and under-collateralized loaning companies in Africa can benefit from a frictionless interaction on our platform. 3. Interoperability to various local payment gateways, for example, Safaricom, Pesa, and various blockchain apps. The DeFi network has the following features. 1. An automated market maker algorithm that controls swaps on the liquidity pools. Kotanipay's reserves are exchanged for liquidity pools based on smart contracts. 2. Synthetic representations of fiat currencies on the blockchain. 3. Over-collateralization, borrowing, and lending. 4. An agency network. complete a funds transfer, a user dials *483*354# to access the full USSD menu. By selecting option 1, they then receive a prompt to enter the recipient's mobile number. Upon entering the amount and completing the transaction, they then receive a message with the details of the transaction. To withdraw funds, the user dials *483*354# to access the full USSD. They select option 3 and enter the amount to withdraw. The transaction is completed within a matter of seconds. The main participants on the DeFi network are agents and users. One becomes an agent by depositing a pair of assets in given ratios into a pool. For example, 10,000 Kenya shillings and 10,000 CUSD in the Kenya shilling CUSD pool. Transaction fees charged on users utilizing this pool are distributed to liquidity providers based on their share of the pool. Each pool is a smart contract operated by users calling functions on it. Providing liquidity is called deposit in a pool contract instance. The automated market maker function. Users can swap their tokens for other tokens in the liquidity pool. Swapping tokens is called swap on a pool contract. The user is charged a transaction fee during the swap. For USSD users using the feature phone menu, the experience is seamless. A user can buy BTC simply by choosing the buy BTC option, but in the background, a swap is performed to exchange the asset provided by the user. For example, CUSD or Kenya shillings in exchange for BTC. Kotanipay's automated market maker algorithm relies on mathematical formulas to set the price of a token. There are no buy or sell orders, and traders don't need to find someone else to sell their coins to. Instead, a smart contract acts as a maker in an exchange transaction. The DeFi platform enables the creation of on-chain synthetic assets that track the value of assets in the real world. Current assets available are the synthetic fiat currencies. Synthetic assets allow you to receive the benefit of holding an asset without actually holding it, while at the same time being able to transact on the blockchain with these assets. Users and agents of Kotanipay who deposit the local currencies into pools automatically create synthetic versions of the same, which are tradable on the blockchain across countries and jurisdictions. Agents on the Kotanipay DeFi network, in addition to commission on transaction amounts, also earn governance tokens. Governance tokens enable agents to approve any new markets in high demand, for example, USD Gold. In the future, the governance token will enable agents to perform more roles within the network, such as protocol changes needed for growth of the network. Hello, and
great. Thanks, Steve. Over to the judges for questions and comments.
I love the background music.
Yeah, the background music was definitely cool. And yeah, I like what you're trying to do here. So I've got a question, Steve, which is, how does custody work with your product?
So basically, we looked to interface like with a bank account. Anyone can become an agent by interfacing a bank API, which allows you to provide some fiat on the account. The rest will be carried through the escrow smart contracts on the side of crypto.
Got it. Can you explain that a little bit more on the crypto side?
Yeah. So on the basically, we're working mostly with APIs that allow you to if you send some funds into a bank account, these are an equivalent amount is credited on the crypto side, which allows you to create like a pool. We borrowed pretty much from what Uniswap has done of having different tokens as a pool, and we are able to now swap with it. And our focus is on the stable tokens instead of the whole crypto, except for the main two, which is Ethereum and Bitcoin, because they have a bigger market range.
Is there a lot of options for fiat on-ramp and off-ramp right now in where you are? And you could tell me where you are, actually, that would be great.
So I'm from Kenya. There's actually not a lot of, we actually pay premium for like almost close to between 6 to 10% depending on where you're buying, of the current market of like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you come here, you're paying like 5% more to get the tokens.
So there is so there are a few options, but then for fiat on ramp and off ramp, but you still always have to pay a premium for the cryptocurrencies when you buy them.
Yes, you have to pay a premium, and then it's not very easy to use because the biggest solution here is M-Pesa. I don't know if you're familiar with it, which allows you to send a text and be able to like credit someone. So we borrowed heavily from that idea. Then we wanted to take like the strength of like DeFi, or where anyone can provide that liquidity and become a part owner, and then be able, by providing that, you earn a fees. So borrowing from that, we can able to create like any merchant or a shop owner can become like an agent in that network and be able to provide like a way for users to on ramp and off ramp into the crypto ecosystem.
Okay. Well, thanks, Steve, and thanks, Sam, as well.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
Cheers. Okay. Moving on to the next demo, the next project up is wrapped Filecoin. So please go ahead and play your demo for us.
Hi, this is Nazareno, and we'll show you a quick demo of wrapped Filecoin. To start, we need to indicate the amount of Filecoin we want to wrap. Then we need to specify an Ethereum address where we want to receive the wrapped Filecoin, and a Filecoin address that I've created before using the wallet. So now we need to send 0.1 Filecoin to this address. So we will use the Filecoin wallet, specifying the amount and the private key of our wallet, and we need to send 0.1 Filecoin to the custodial wallet, and it succeeds. So now it's wrapped, so we can see now the amount being updated, 0.6. Now we can unwrap same amount, 0.1 wrapped Filecoin. So we have currently 0.6 on this account, and we need to specify the wallet we would like to receive the 0.1 Filecoin. So let's check again the balance. Yeah, it's updated. As you can see, we wrapped before, so 0.1 Filecoin. So we sent Filecoin to the custodial wallet, and the balance now is updated. Now we can unwrap 0.1 Filecoin, and yeah, we need to connect to the wallet, and then we need to burn 0.1 wrapped Filecoin. Confirm. Transaction confirmed on Kovan. As you can see, I burn 0.1 wrapped Filecoin, and there is an event that emit an event unwrapped with the address we want to receive the Filecoin. The unwrapping process starts with burning the wrapped Filecoin, and then the backend will send back from the custodial wallet 0.5 Filecoin to our wallet. but we can see that we burn successfully 0.1 wrapped Filecoin on the account. This is important because wrapped Filecoin is an ERC20 token, a stable coin on deposits on a Filecoin custodial wallet. So we keep the ratio 1-to-1 of the amount stored in the custodial wallet and the total supply of wrapped Filecoin in Ethereum. And this will keep the value of Filecoin in Ethereum as well. As you can see now is updated, and we successfully unwrapped 0.1 wrapped Filecoin.
Great, thank you. Over to the judges for questions and comments.
Very cool. I mean, as a DeFi enthusiast, I think this is definitely needed. What was the biggest technical challenge that you guys had to overcome when you were building this?
You want to know question? Yeah. I think this one. Yeah.
Actually, since we have been working from too many months with Ethereum, working now with a different protocol like Filecoin was very, very challenging and hard for us. Also, we had to set up our own node and trying to communicate with the blockchain, with the Filecoin blockchain through that node, and setting all that working together, asking to the network if the transaction is completed or not, sending actual the Filecoins. That was our biggest challenge, trying to operate with different blockchain and different protocol.
Got it. Makes sense.
Where are you guys thinking about taking this next, now that you have this potentially very large interest, that many people could be pursuing?
Yeah, we are currently on Tachyon, and next would be to fully audit the code base, and including formal verification, and launch on mainnet as soon as possible. After that, we plan to release a new custodial version by leveraging on Filecoin smart contract that currently are not available to developers, so it will take a while. That's why we went with the custodial pattern first.
Hi guys, nice to see you again. Great demo. Question from me. So I think before you move to something that's more non-custodial, I think obviously there's going to be some people who might be a little bit nervous about the custodial nature of the protocol. So what are steps that maybe you're thinking of undertaking to, sort of engender trust and a brand in the community, and and presumably, as Spencer indicated, I assume one of the primary applications of wrapped Filecoin is DeFi, and trust is absolutely paramount there too. So.
Yeah, sure. In order to build trust, all the code is open source, including the backend. We will definitely look for a custodial, and it's a third party to keep track of the Filecoin. So and also we'll have an interface to show the history log of wrapping and unwrapping, and keep the user updated about the custodial wallet balance. And of course, the code will be fully audited, including the backend and the smart contract. And we are using as a tech stack IPFS, also TextileThreadDB, to keep track of the transaction on Filecoin. So we kind of keep track of Filecoin transaction locally. So to add an extra layer of security.
And also, if I can add something, we have been researching in some third parties that can prove that we actually held that deposit, like a proof of deposit. That can be an intermediate solution before we reach the non-custodial approach completed.
Great.
Cool.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Thanks much, you both. Great project. Good to see you back.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, so the next hack we're going to see is ExtropyChain. Whenever you are ready to share your demo, please go ahead.
Thanks very much, Josh. Let me share with audio. Here we go.
Hi, and thanks for listening. Introducing Demystify, which is designed to help traders make better informed decisions. So what are the 3 pillars for better security? It's due diligence, auditing, and insurance, and Demystify covers the first 2 pillars. Some well-known facts about the amount that's been lost in crypto crimes, which has amounted to billions over the course of 2019 and 2020. So what are the current problems? Traders don't have better tools to make better decisions, which results in the loss of funds. Smart contracts haven't been audited, which results in the risk of security issues. And there are unreliable resources on social media that are biased. So the main ideas of Demystify were built on top of MetaMask, which is a reliable tool and is simple for integration for users. We have a library that's based on demonstrated attack vectors and provides informative feedback to the user. We use EtherScan and CryptoScanDB to check the contract addresses against the library. And we use other data sources for scraping data and monitoring price fluctuation. So why are we different? Well, we're a plugin tool, which is easy to use for users. We provide static analysis of smart contracts, and we provide the DeFi community with education and safety. So what is our business model? We have feasibility because we have a team of experienced blockchain engineers and we have extensive experience. We have viability because credible DeFi firms are likely to invest because they have an interest in users using their credible platforms. And we have desirability because users can use Demystify at any time and it can be used repeatedly, which is likely because end users would utilize the tool every time they interact with a new smart contract. So we carried out a Twitter poll to see if users would use our tool, and 80% said yes. And thank you very much for listening.
This is how the interface will look with the Snap plugin for MetaMask. So when you go to send some funds to an address, you will enter the address as per normal. You will then choose the amount that you want to send to the address. And then once you click on the next button, it will come up with some information that has been retrieved from the back end. In this instance, it's saying that there is something wrong being indicated by the smart contract address. We can now see it when sending to a contract address which is not malicious and not been flagged as harmful. And you can see here, nice and clear, it tells you that you're safe to send your funds to that particular smart contract address. Okay, thanks.
How big is your team?
About 4 of us working on this.
Sorry?
There are about 4 of us working on this.
Oh, okay, awesome, okay.
And was all of the work done during the hackathon period?
Yeah, yes it was.
Got it.
Yeah, there was quite a few things that we haven't finished that we would have liked to, like the list of wanted features is pretty long, but it's kind of building up, starting from the start, like trying to decentralize it all. So we're using Pocket Network for that to try and get off of Infura. and obviously smart contracts being decentralized as well. So there are a few hurdles along the way. Yeah, the idea, the concept is pretty sound, I think, and it's just kind of making it into a nice package that you can use a MetaMask.
Yeah, for a newcomer coming to the space, I would totally recommend this to them, just so that in case they get scammed, you know, that sounds like you even make the, I mean, the warning sign needs to be bigger. It should be like a pop-up, glaring capital letters. But I think it's super useful. It's a cool idea.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, something big red flashing would be nicer, like some alarms going off in your speakers, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely think this is really useful. I'm curious how you guys are like ensuring that the addresses that you have tagged are expansive, like, you know, correct and all of those things, because, you know, the mechanism is obviously really helpful. So how do you guys ensure that?
Yeah, so a very good question. So we're concerned about someone flagging something perhaps that was a valid address, and so the data sources are from various areas. So scraping videos from YouTube is one. So taking data from Twitter API is another. Also those two sources, so EtherScan and CryptoScanDB, and also feedback from the sort of people using it as well. So rather than basing it just on one source, or like it is then easy to be spoofed by someone if they want to annoy their friend who's got a contract running, then, you know, it's sourced from a lot more places to kind of balance out the score. Oh, and also I should mention things like static analysis of the contracts themselves. So EtherScan, you can get the majority of contracts there, smart contracts there, either the bytecode or the source code for the contract itself. So performing static analysis on the code of the smart contract, referring that back to scans which have happened over the past sort of 6-9 months. There's a good library of those. So you can, even if it wasn't intentional by the developers, and a lot of these clones, as we've seen, have been maybe unintentional weaknesses. But if we can say, you know, this has happened before, here's evidence of it happening. So rather than basing it on kind of a whim or something, we're actually using sort of historical data to build up knowledge about the area.
And what data sets do you wish you had that would make this more robust?
What to make it more robust? So I didn't catch your first couple of words.
What data sets or integration?
Well, so at the moment we have an idea of using data sets like CryptoScanDB, which is quite a nice sort of resource. Also EtherScan, I think I mentioned those sources before. And generally just trying to get as many as possible. So I think one of the key ones is just looking at historical data, like sort of saying, right, this has happened, you know, people have lost their money there. This is that section of bytecode from that smart contract, or this is kind of the function that has been indicated by things such as the, what's it called? There's a competitions in there where you're trying to do a sneaky solidity function. And so any of these sources, like where we can actually demonstrably show where money has been lost and where people have lost their funds.
What are the next steps now?
Finish off the Snap, which is the plugin for MetaMask. Finish integrating it with Pocket as well. Had a few hiccups with that. And then, yeah, keep building it. I guess make it more obvious when something isn't going right, I guess, as you suggested. Yeah, I just keep going with it.
Have you spoken to the MetaMask team about it?
Beg your pardon? Have you asked the MetaMask team?
Yeah.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Great. Yeah, I'll follow up. I think they'll love to learn more about this. I think you're on the right track, and that's exactly what Snaps is meant to do. So thank you for checking it out.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom and team.
You're welcome. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next demo. And after this one, we'll take our mid-session break of about 10 minutes. But the next team is Archie. So as soon as you're on the call, please go ahead and play your demo for us.
Manipal Institute of Technology, who has recently undergraduated. Hi everyone, this is Archie and we've presented this for ETHOnline 2020. What we are 3 students from Manipal Institute of Technology who have recently undergraduated. We have made a system in which we can directly give donations, which will purchase products and go directly to the NGO, cutting out the middleman in between. This ensures that there are secure, automated, and transparent transactions that go through, which are using ERC20 tokens. We're cutting out the middleman, and we make sure that there's on-chain verification that's been done. How it's built? It's built using a registration is done for users and NGO. Only a document proof is required for the NGO. The ETH address is generated on signing up. After that, users can deposit fiat currency into their account. Feasible denominations of donations are possible by the user to an NGO, and a progress bar is maintained to ensure that there is transparency. ERC20 balance is maintained on the hood, and the contracts are deployed using Matic's mainnet API. The main homepage of our site, wherein several different NGOs have listed their services. So it can either be a birth service, or it can be for poverty alleviation, or it can be for education. Now we are going to proceed with signing in from an NGO's point of view. So once we sign in, we have to provide the email address and a password. This email address is mapped to a unique Ethereum address, which we will see in a minute. As you can see, the unique Ethereum address has been generated for that email. Now you can see that this NGO has listed several products which you would like to list. Product 1, product 2, product 3 with their cost and quantity. The NGO has the option to edit or add further products for listing. As you can see, it has been changed. Now we're going ahead with the donor's point of view. If we sign out, we can click from the donor's point of view, and they also have to provide a unique email as well as a password, which generates another unique Ethereum address linked to that email. Now the user also has the option to view these products, but can pay for them. A user can go ahead and add money into their wallet, which is minted currency for now, but we can integrate third-party apps as well. Let's go ahead and add $2,000. You can monitor this transaction hash given. We can go ahead and view the balance as it shows that it is 2,000. Now we are going ahead and paying for a particular NGO. If you donate, let's go ahead and donate $50. And you can see that the goal has increased along with the transaction hash generated. Okay. The goal has increased by 25%. Now we're going ahead and donating for the entire amount. That's there, which is the remainder, which is $150. If we pay, it says the transaction has been generated. Okay. And now this product will get shipped to the NGO with the tracking details which can be found here after we integrate it with the vendor service. 100% has been generated. Now if we go ahead and see our balance has reduced to, now we can see the transaction hashes that have been mined on Matic Vigil as well, giving the events that have been emitted. If you see the balance is 1800, 200 has been deducted. Now going ahead to Matic, and you can see that the events have been generated. We can see the transactions have gone through, and future work include adding 3 third-party apps like Amazon, Google Pay, Paytm, PayPal. We can introduce an app-based platform as well, and we can use image recognition techniques to see our products. Also, user and NGO approval can be added as well. That's from our side. Thank you.
Great, thanks guys. Over to the judges for questions and comments.
Thanks for this. What kind of prompted you guys to decide on building a donor platform? I guess what kind of middlemen are you guys trying to cut out?
So usually in India, at least, people are really apprehensive donating to several NGOs because they feel that the middlemen, the NGOs will seep out the money for themselves and not actually benefit the target audience. So this will clear all apprehensions that the users might have. So that's what we thought of when we were building it.
Have you talked to NGOs about this project yet at all?
Yeah, I was a part of an NGO, and they wouldn't tell it face first, but once you get in touch with them, some of them start to be, as in it's a bit shady there.
I see.
What was the most challenging aspect that you guys worked through?
Spencer said, what was the most challenging aspect that you guys went through?
Okay, I would say the most challenging prospect would be looking into Matic Visual's documentation. So we had to rough it up in the first 1 week, 2 weeks, and then we had to make the contracts for it. So that took quite some time because the web-based model was more or less, we were all familiar with it, but writing the contracts took a good amount of time for us.
Have you guys been working in or just kind of dabbling in the blockchains on the side?
It's been 4 months, I would say, for all three of us since we delved into this field.
That's very cool. You must, it must be a lot of stuff that you have to learn.
Yeah, it's interesting though.
Yeah.
If you guys had more time, what would you build?
We are thinking of making this product forward, like the future works that we included. We would like to work on that. Otherwise, we have some more ideas in the back of our head that we would like to give a shot. So that's our future work for now that we like to delve into.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like you're targeting like a direct problem that you guys are very aware of. So I'd be really interested in kind of seeing your kind of the traction there, and just trying to explain to people the value of you know, blockchain technology in that respect.
Definitely look forward to that as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. Well, if no more questions, then we'll wrap this Q&A there. Thank you so much, Team Archie, for being part of ETHOnline.
Thank you so much. We would like to give a shout out to Swaroop and Anumit who helped us with build this project. They were like our mentors. So nice. Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks.
Good job.
Okay. Okay, so we'll take our kind of mid-session break here. We'll come back in 10 minutes. And the next team after the break will be Athlete Equity. So we'll see you back here in about 10.
Okay, thanks, Josh.
Okay, just about ready to get started. Judges, let me know when you're back.
Hey there.
Hey there.
Hello.
Okay. All right, Robert, please go ahead and play your demo whenever you're ready.
Got it.
Team, Robbie Clages, Juan Pa, and me, Kevin Camto. So welcome to our presentation on athlete equity. 3 different people on the team, Robbie Clages, Juan Pa, and me, Kevin Camto. So quick overview, who we are, what we want to do, the challenges we faced, and our next steps. So we built a liquidity pool on Ethereum that exposes liquidity providers to athlete performance. So what that means is we want to give different interested parties the opportunity to invest in athlete performance, meaning that here athlete tokens can be bought from the pool or minted, and when a player performs well, the weight of the token in the pool increases. So the framework, we used Ethereum contracts in the backend to build a liquidity pool. We have athlete API data that we can visualize on the front end. And there's a smart contract that is used to adjust the weights of the pool according to the stats. That's definitely the vision we had in mind, and let's dive quickly into what it looks like. So here you can see all the different game stats and the account and the liquidity pool. So these stats show right here LeBron James and the NBA Finals game data. So the points they won, points per game for different teams. Here is the admin controls where you can start the season, deposit tokens, and if you start the season if you try to deposit tokens without starting the season, it won't allow you to. Well, first it started. Here is the liquidity pool, where this would be where all of the DAI tokens can be seen. Diving into some challenges we faced and what our next steps should be. Programming side, we struggled with the amount of developers that we had, and so some of the features that we wanted to implement ended up having to be shelved or really put on the back burner. The next steps that we really see are continuing to build out this product. Ideally, we'd love to turn this into a fully fledged business where different players that want to invest in player tokens can do so. And that's really the end goal. Thank you for your time, and
Awesome. Over to the judges for question and comments. Spencer, knowing your intersection of interest, I suspect you might have interest in this one.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around it, but I love sports and I love DeFi. So, what's the purpose of the pool exactly?
Yeah, so each player token is some portion of the pool. The pool is made up of 100% of the player tokens, and then as an athlete performs well, its weighting, that player token in the pool would increase, and then others would decrease. And the same thing for poor athlete performance. When a player performs poorly or under his or her rolling average of the last 10 games or the whole season, that weight of that player would drop in the pool and the others would increase.
Got it. And so is it all the players in a league or whatever in that pool, or just a defined set or subset of players in the pool? I'm trying to understand the composition and why.
We haven't fleshed out our listing policy completely yet, but that would be something that we would take into account. Is ideally we'd like to have all the players that are a part of that league as part of the pool.
Mm-hmm. And does it need an opt-in from the player, or can you just like basically mint it given their stats?
As long as we can bring the stats in, then we have the ability to mint the token. We're not completely sure about the legality or the regulation around offering some sort of token like that. So we'd appreciate any advice or suggestions on that side. But as long as the stats are able to communicate with the Oracle, then yeah, we're able to bring it in.
Got it. And so as an end user, it's more about kind of like investing in these tokens, would you say?
Yeah. As the end user, you can think of it like gambling or a fantasy sports game like daily fantasy. But really, it's an uncorrelated asset. So we'd like to see it in some sort of investment portfolio.
Yeah, got it.
So the token
really
price
cool.
fluctuates with the performance of the athlete, right?
Exactly.
Is that how it works? Okay.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, a lot of times, right, you have the only way that you can kind of bet on an individual player's performance is over like a very short time frame, right? Like DFS or something like that. And then as you get longer, you have to kind of use the teams to bet maybe that the Lakers are going to win a championship. So I think this is a pretty cool hole in the market that you guys are going after. What challenges would you see that you need to overcome here to launch it?
Yeah, so legal challenges and regulatory challenges are going to depend on jurisdiction. We've also had concerns about gas fees and when to enable withdrawals and allow people to sell their tokens into the pool, because each time that we are going to update the weight in the pool, it's going to cost some gas. So that's one concern we've had. Other than that, Kevin, you can add anything that you like, but I think most of the other challenges were just on the experience side. That we've only been working with Solidity for a couple months, and that was really just kind of the extent of our capabilities.
Yeah. Quickly adding on to that, can everyone hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Quickly adding on to that. Yeah. My personal background was in IoT, so jumping into Ethereum was really new for me, those great and fun to learn. We definitely needed some more help on the programming end, where we had some hurdles that we just couldn't quite get around. And in terms of like validation for this market, we were able to find like a US-based company that isn't exactly in the niche we are in, but they're definitely in a similar enough space that we can see them as a sort of roadmap as to what's to follow or the direction we can go in.
How long have you guys been in this space?
I've been just looking at altcoins and holding some Bitcoin since like 2016. I think the rest of the team was pretty much in the last few months.
Yeah.
Like getting started with Ethereum, and then in the last couple of weeks, it's been working on the hackathon.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, thanks, Robert and Kevin, and I should Juan from your team as well. Really cool project. Thanks for your demo.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Next up is Geofile. And Geofile, I understand that you're going to play a video, but you're going to talk over the video. So please go ahead whenever you're ready, and we'll get started.
Yeah, any chance you can enable my video? You stopped me a couple of minutes ago.
You should be able to reshare it.
Still nothing. Oh, okay, great. Hey everyone. So basically I have two options. I think it's better if I just walk you through the slides so that I can coordinate. anyways, I'm gonna share my screen and let's take it from there. You should be able to see my screen, right?
Yep, all good.
Okay, thanks. So Geofile is focused on localized storage. But before I tell you more about localized storage and why it's so exciting, let me give you a fast introduction on how the current state of affairs are. So basically, most of the data that we are consuming today is coming from basically on any device, either our phones or a desktop machine is going to these three companies. And you wouldn't believe what percentage of actually requests are going to those data centers. But this is not necessarily a problem right now. Because those companies are incentivized to act as good actors, and basically there is no reason for us to worry. But this is not something that we can actually plan for the long term, and possibly in the long term, maybe in 50 years, that's going to change. And we shouldn't really rely on this kind of storage. Now, this was the entire premise behind decentralized storage. And the way that the decentralized storage differs from centralized storage is in the fact that basically all our files can be stored on multiple machines, and we can also split the files and store them on however machines we want with whatever redundancy we want. And we can also encrypt them there, and we can do all sorts of things with that. But now, that's not just good, it's also bad for a couple of reasons, because then we need to ask ourselves a question. First of all, where is my data going to be stored? I mean, on which computer is my data going to live? Because this is not something that we don't care about. I mean, we would rather have our data on Azure rather than on some malicious guy computer. How can we be sure that our data is not going to go offline? How can we be sure that those miners are not going to go offline? And lastly, how can we actually be sure that we can retrieve that data? Maybe we have 10 terabytes of data stored on a miner, but that miner has like a connection that is 15 megabytes and maybe has 10 megabytes of upload. That's very bad, because then it would take us like 3 days to actually retrieve the data. Now, those are all problems that currently exist in the decentralized storage ecosystem, but on the other hand, we have a very big need for decentralized storage. Actually, you have so many initiatives in the European Union that are pushing citizens and companies that are residing in the European Union to store all the data in the European Union. Something that probably you have heard about is the case with Facebook, which is basically unable to keep some data in the European Union and not in the US because of the way they architected their systems. On the other side, they are also unable to do that from the governance standpoint, because they are still headquartered in the US, and the US actually ask them to give some data to the government. They need to actually do that. This is something that blockchain storage solves very well, and we have seen a lot of need coming from the pharmaceutical companies and in general the health vertical in the European Union. Now, how Geofile works and what Geofile does. So basically what we do is we have a list of miners. We verify those miners. We make sure that those miners have good internet connections. We make sure those miners went through a KYC, that we know who they are. We make sure that we know what gear those miners have, that potentially in the future data can be retrieved in a successful way. From the software side, basically what we have is we are talking to PowerGate, which is underneath managing what data goes to Lotus, which is basically Filecoin, and IPFS. And basically, depending on the use case of the final customer, it's either going to be hot storage or cold storage. Filecoin is cold storage in this case, and hot storage is going to go to IPFS. Now,
just want to interrupt to note that we're 4 minutes and 30 seconds in. So your video was supposed to be 4 minutes long. So if you can wrap it up in 30 seconds, and then let's do Q&A.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes. So this is the view that the miner has. Basically, it just sets what data he wants to store, and we focused on clients that have the need for localized data, or miners that or clients that need to give ownership of the data to the final users. And these are the two companies that we have worked with, Raiffeisen Bank in our case, they wanted to unify the API with their customers in the different branches. For example, in Austria or in Serbia or in Romania, they want to be sure that they can use the same API. And Intellisys Group, which is a health company in Switzerland, where basically what they want is they want to store symptoms on the blockchain and make sure that their users have ownership over those symptoms and that they can go to the doctors and basically share the data. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep this slide here and we can wrap up and go to questions.
So is this a running company now?
No, actually, it's actually Geofile is not. But before that, we worked a lot on the Filecoin infrastructure piece. We tried to actually make the infrastructure work. And we have the pieces that are necessary for the mining setup to actually be run somewhere. For example, in our case, for Raiffeisen, we need a miner in Austria. First, it's going to be our hardware. Then we are going to try to recruit miners that want to join the network. But first, we need to make sure that that infrastructure works and that we provide a good service to the final user, in this case, Raiffeisen Bank. In the future, what we want is actually attract miners with tools for miners, like monitoring tools, analytics, and stuff like that, so that when they use their tools, they can basically check that they want to be part of this network as well, and we can send them storage deals.
Thank you for the presentation. Clearly, I think you're like you've stumbled on a market gap here. Could you, for my benefit, would you mind recapping what you built for the hackathon and what you sort of like planned for the future? That part wasn't super clear for me.
Yeah, definitely. So what we built, and I'm gonna just play the demo now. What we built is a platform for miners where they can log in, where we can verify them, and where basically we can make sure that the connection is working, and then we whitelist them once they have went through the verification, basically. When that happens, then we go to the clients and then we see where those miners should be part of a particular deal or not. In the case of Raiffeisen Bank, it needs to be in Austria, Romania, and Serbia. So most of the miners are not going to be part of that, but in the future, possibly those are going to be part of it. And yeah, we do normal things. We check that the connection works and things like that. Some of those can be done with the reputation system of Filecoin, but it's not really complete. And the reputation is fine to some degree, but you can't really be sure whether the connection is going to be good for a particular use case. For example, when you have large video files and things like that.
Well, how are you guys thinking about signing up miners?
With the development tools. So basically they have tools that allow them to mine more effectively. For example, what we are going to work on is an orchestrator for setups that have multiple nodes. For example, because Filecoin mining is very hard, you need to have different machines that are doing a particular operation. For example, one machine with a lot of RAM, one machine with a lot of storage, and one machine with a very fast CPU. The problematic part right now is actually how do you orchestrate those operations between those miners, and how do you make sure that this is optimal and you seal as many sectors as you can. Now, this is a very nice way to actually attracting them. We give those tools for free, and then we ask them where they want to have more deals on their platform if they are miners that actually fill particular criteria. If they are, great. If they are not, They just use the tools. Great.
Okay, well, we're out of time, so we'll have to end the Q&A there. But thank you for your presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is cool. Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, so next up we have DistributedTown. Please play your demo whenever you're ready.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. 1 second. Right. So, hello everyone, this is Alex from Italy, and I'm the team lead of DistributedTown, a self-organizing network based on a non-speculative financial model that lets anyone organize in autonomous, self-sustainable communities where every member is rewarded based on the value of their contribution for the community itself. Now, during these times, we've seen the rise of remote work, distributed teams, and many attempts to communicate and interact with others in innovative ways. Unfortunately, though, the DAOs, the decentralized autonomous organization, are still too complex and generalized for newcomers. Also, they are too focused on financial rewards that don't incentivize people in long-term relationships and are not based on mutual support and a common goal. DistributedTown instead offers a solution based on a non-speculative mutual credit system, based on a mathematical proof. Not only we are building a more meritocratic, distributed financial infrastructure for the future, but we let users join a community with just one step, literally just adding their email address thanks to our Magic Link integration. After registering, new users can select the skills they are the best at and immediately receive credits for them.
Hey there, this is Lorenzo, the smart contracts guy of the DistributedTown team, and I'm just going to take you to a quick walkthrough to the ETHOnline MVP version of the contracts that power DistributedTown. The core of our protocol is the community contract, which can be interacted with gaslessly using gas station network. Every community has a 96,000 cap token called the ITO, which can only be transferred from and to members of that community. When a user joins a community, he gets a certain amount of the ITO, and when he leaves, he has to return them.
I'm Milena, and I'm working on the backend and off-chain data management of DistributedTown project. Our technical stack is Node.js and TextDAO's TradeDP mailbox. We use TradeDP for a database. We have a trade per community, and this way we store the community data privately. And we also use mailbox for intercommunication between the communities when needed. Here on the left, you can see the functionality that we already have implemented. It's a simple Postman collection. We can list communities, get community details, get the skills tree so that the user can pick skills, creating and joining user and joining community, create, get, and accept kits, and listing some user data. Also, we have the create community endpoint.
But wait, we said it's a mutual credit system, so where are the money actually coming from? Well,
once a member, a user can then deposit DAI or USDC using the gasless ERC 3009 transfer with authorization function and lend DAI to Aave to accrue interest on it.
So, as a final step, one of the main issues that we found is related to personal mobility. So we created a universal login on the top of our DistributedTown network. It is called Skill Wallet, and you can easily access it directly from your user profile, visualizing all your past activities and your current credit amount. Once you access your Skill Wallet, you can immediately log in to any other community in the network. Plus, in the future, you will be able to participate to events or join a hackathon just like this one, by simply scanning a unique QR code that lets you in the new community in a few seconds. So, thank you for having us. DistributedTown is creating the foundation for the future of collaborative economics in a more open and compassionate world based on meritocracy and mutual support. Join us and help us build the local community of the citizens of the world. Thank you very much. All right, I'm back.
Thank you. Over to the judges for questions and comments.
This is super interesting, guys. Can you talk about the motivations that you had for building such a project? I'm curious if there was, something in real life that you had maybe encountered that made you want to build for it.
Well, I mean, the simplest answer would be that basically in 10 years of blockchain, we've tried to build better money, while I think what we are trying to do instead is to build a better system that is based on value. So basically what we are trying to do is to allow anyone to manage their own tasks, their own community, their own accounts in a measurable way, and focus on the actual goal, on actual, personal contribution, innovation, and so on, rather than speculation. So that's mostly like that. And also, I mean, if you see the skill wallet in perspective, would be a nice way to move from a place to the other, or travel the world potentially and contribute to anywhere you go without the need for passports, resumes, bank accounts, and this kind of stuff. So mostly it's like a more open world and a more customizable life experience.
Hey guys, this is really cool, and I like the presentation, how you guys distributed the work, and it was very thoroughly kind of and well explained in where each of you kind of spoke. It's probably the most comprehensive presentation I've seen today. So good job to you guys. And my question is kind of what communities would you approach this product with to kind of test out, or if you have tested out with anyone using it, kind of building that community like that?
Yeah, well, first of all, we started working on this, and we completed most of the things that I showed during this hackathon. So it's very young, and we had a lot of work. But anyway, we discussed already with, for example, Gitcoin, because let's say since we built this protocol called proof of contribution, we are able to eliminate any sort of Sybil attack or pool manipulation from the CLR model of quadratic funding from Gitcoin. So we empower, let's say, this approach that they have, and we allow, for example, any hacker to join a new hackathon or a new bounty and so on with immediate personal identification. Also, we thought about other two use cases that already exist. Currently, we have three categories. So the first one is, of course, blockchain and DLT. The second one is art and events. So, for example, if you want to I don't know, organize an art event, or if you want to organize a performance or a music event and so on, you can immediately do it. And the third one is local communities. So for example, a couple of years ago, I was discussing with one of the biggest waste and energy renewal companies in Finland. And it's very interesting for them, like the possibility to do that in local condos or in small neighborhoods and so on. So it is a good way, for example, for condos to manage their building, their resources, and this kind of stuff.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, this is super interesting. One quick question from me. Could you talk a little bit more about the mutual credit system that you're proposing and how you expect to develop it further?
What do you mean, develop it further?
As in, like, how do you think of sort of work exactly? Like, as you add more members and you have more communities as well, like, how do you think this will scale?
Okay, so basically, as Lorenzo showed in the demo, every community has a cap of 96,000 DITO credits in their vault. And every time a member joins, they receive 2,000 base amount of DITO credits, plus all the skills that they listed. Before being able to use their credits, for example, creating a gig for someone else, or creating a new project, or creating a new community, and so on, they need to validate their skills. So we, basically our governance model saves one step, and we use game theory basically to avoid, auditing pools or validation pools and this kind of stuff. It will delay a lot in the real world. And every time there is a, let's say, limited variety of skills within one community, what we call the scarcity score activates and sends a signal to other communities that, for example, a specific skill is needed. So if you receive the signal, basically you have the possibility to move from your community A to a community B. And your tokens get locked in community A and unlocked in community B after they scan and validate your QR code, your skill wallet. So basically we have no problem in scaling, and every community has an account ledger that is fixed. So our mutual credit is based on an actual proof of contribution, and it doesn't really matter for us if whether this token has value or not, because it has fixed value within our network and no interest in the exchange trading and this kind of stuff.
Great. Okay, thanks so much, Alex, and the whole team. Great presentation. Thanks for being part of the hackathon.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Yeah, and thank you to my team as well. Unfortunately, I took all the stage, but they've been great, and I just wanted to thank them. All right, thank you all.
Yeah, great job, team. Thanks.
Okay, the next project we're going to see is called Split. So the Split team, please share your demo as soon as you're ready.
Hi everyone, I'm James Simpson, and today I'm going to help introduce Split. You can find us on split.finance. Tokens on Ethereum represent several properties: capital, yield, and/or governance rights. Split takes ERC20 tokens that bundle together several of these components and splits each component into its own token with the aim of enhancing capital efficiency. In this hack, we've built a way to split Compound's LP token, or C tokens. I've been hacking on this with Francesco Agosti, Fabio Berger, Richard Galvin, and David Sun. For those who may not be familiar, Compound is a lending protocol. The C token is given to users who supply assets to the protocol, and it represents both the holder's rights to the capital supplied and to the interest generated on those assets on a perpetual basis. The core Split smart contracts receive and custody the C token, and in this example, BAT, and then mint its capital component, as well as its forward income or yielding component, into separate fungible tokens that can be traded or used as collateral across DeFi. Francesco will now demo how the Split product works.
Thanks, James. This is Split.finance, a dApp that lets you interact with the Split smart contracts. Split currently supports splitting, combining, and managing Compound C tokens and their split parts. Let's see what happens when I split 100 CBAT into 2.06 CCBAT and 2 YCBAT. Looking at the transaction, you can see that I deposited 100 CBAT into the split vault, and in return, I received 2 separate ERC20 tokens, CCBAT and YCBAT. I can combine those split tokens together on the combine page. I'm going to use my entire split token balance for this transaction, meaning all my CCBAT and all my YCBAT. And as you can see, it means I will get back 100 CBAT. As you can see, I get 100 CBAT back, and I've returned my CCBAT and my YCBAT. Finally, on the manage page, I can see my split token balances, and most importantly, withdraw yield from my yield tokens. It looks like I have some C to withdraw, so let's do that. As you can see, I withdrew my CETH denominated yield, and I still have my YC tokens. If I were to transfer my tokens to someone else, for example, this withdrawal would happen automatically. That's it, that's the demo. Passing it on to Richard, who will talk about the potential of a split.
Split provides market neutral yield assets such as split seed or CETH, where the holder is buying an ongoing and accruing income stream. Unique income flow opportunities can be created, like splitting AMM tokens and providing access to low volatility, high yielding fee income. Removing the yield component from AMM LP tokens is likely to allow investors to buy the capital component at a reduced cost, providing enhanced price leverage. Split could be applied to any ERC20 token that has multiple attributes, like, for example, Kyber networks or Yearn. These could be split into their 3 core components: yield, governance, and capital, allowing users to sell or purchase rights for governance, for example. Split is a novel protocol and concept for DeFi. The protocol enhances the ability of users to choose risk-reward profiles. Tokens produced by Split offer unique income and price appreciation opportunities. These tokens can be used on Split's platform, but also across the broader DeFi ecosystem.
Hi everyone, I'm James Simpson.
Hey guys.
Hey everyone. This is very cool, and I think it's a very well presented.
Video sharing? Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I
Good
guess
to see
what
you
tokens
guys.
would you start off with as my first question?
Oh, in the demo, we started off with all compound tokens, all C tokens. So yeah, maybe it wasn't explained that much in the demo, but you split the compound tokens into only two parts, capital and yield. The capital portion is kind of like residue, and then the yield component token is a bit more interesting because you saw that there was about 20 YC ETH. That basically means the yield on 20 ETH in compound. And so you can constantly withdraw that yield, and it's kind of this fungible token that gives you right to the continuous yield that comes from those C tokens. And then we made some more examples at the end, which is you could split, governance tokens, you could split Wi-Fi, you could split a whole bunch of other things.
So I mean, this was obviously a money market and compound, but if you think about potentially Uniswap LP tokens, everyone complains about impermanent loss. You could split an LP token to a capital and yield component, and then there's kind of a zero downside yielding component that people could either sell off if they just wanted the kind of more directional trading opportunity with the capital component, or people could buy if they just wanted that fee income without the capital exposure. Yeah.
Guys, this is really dope. I love it. I want to use it myself. Are there any trust kind of assumptions or additional things that users have to worry about in terms of getting their funds stolen, or just making sure that everything works properly, no tax?
So
no tax. Yeah, maybe James, you can take that one.
Well, so trust. I think this is obviously just a hack, and it's just compound at the moment. But if you kind of take a broader picture and think about this with integrating protocol tokens, there is a world where this would be built in quite an integration heavy way. So if you're talking about kind of trust in that sense, perhaps that is something to consider from an architectural perspective. Francesco, you might.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think we're struggling on the topic of trustless, but it is trustless. So it just uses the C token price feed. So there is it's totally DeFi native, so to speak. If that's what you need, there is no there is no trust.
Yeah, I think that answers it. I guess another way of phrasing my question would be, when someone splits their tokens, are they trusting you guys or someone else that, beyond what compound C tokens already make them trust?
I think they just trust the split smart contracts. That's
right.
That's it, right?
They are trusting. So there are assumptions made. That the biggest assumption is that the tokens in equal the tokens out. So you may have noticed that you have no choice in how many splits to make. So you have to split in equal amounts, and you can only split the full set. You can't be like, I want 100 capital and then forget the yield. And there are a whole bunch of assumptions that build off of that. And so you need to trust the smart contracts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, this is super cool. How do you sort of see this trading? I mean, if you kind of have one unified token and one token, like 3 split tokens, do you think they'll sort of trade bigger than the sum of the whole, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's a key assumption, that this is kind of a pretty big capital inefficiency in traditional markets as well as crypto. The fact that if I just want yield, or I just want capital, or I just want governance rights, you can't do that. You need to get the whole token or share, or nothing at all. So we think that that there will be opportunities for the sum of the parts to trade more than the whole. For example, if there's a particular activist opportunity, people will pay a premium for that portion. It'll still be a discount to the whole. Likewise with on the yield and capital side.
We think it'll also be a new way for you to sell your token. So you can either choose to sell it and sell the whole thing, or split it and then sell the parts. And I think in a future iteration, we would make that experience very seamless, such that it is like splitting and then selling is like using Uniswap. And so there are some really easy arbitrage loops to implement.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate the presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Okay. So next up, we have the esports results Oracle team. So please go ahead and, oh, actually, I think Jacob's going to play your video for you. So let's jump right in.
So basically what we set out to build was a Oracle connector using Chainlink to report the outcome of a esports match. We ended up using the BattleNet APIs for StarCraft 2. So our first challenge was to connect to the APIs and pull data that we thought was usable to feed to the smart contracts. It took a little while, but we got the API connected and authorized using the BattleNet OAuth app, and we were able to feed match results back to a contract on the Kovan testnet. This is really just the start of what could be built into a more robust reporting system for esports. Ideally, we'd like to integrate this with other projects and or create a better front end for others to use this and self-report their match data. We'd also like to develop this into a interest-bearing pool, like Pool Together, where users could deposit funds and pool them to generate interest. The interest could then be awarded as a prize based on the outcome of the match. There are a few different prize strategies that we started to consider using Pool Together, but we did not get that far. So that's our hack.
Can't seem to hear you, Chris.
Still can't hear you.
Like this?
No.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Judges, over you before.
Did headphones. So yeah, basically we had a larger idea that we're hoping to build over time, which is basically an esports betting platform that's a no-loss lottery. So interest-bearing pools and with an Oracle feeding out the results of the match. So what we focused on right now was just building that Oracle connector with Chainlink, trying to get the match results through and onto the on-chain. Going from there, basically, we would like to create some Pool Together pools. We're not quite sure. There are a few different ways that we've thought about structuring the pool, the prize strategy for Pool Together, whether that's just based on a single account and their wins and losses, whether it's comparing different accounts in specific matches, whether there's people that want to come in and contribute their match data. So basically we started also with just StarCraft 2. We explored also StarCraft 1 APIs as well as Rocket League. So some of the major like competitive esports games. And ideally we would, develop this into connecting into some pools that would have payouts associated with them. So esports gambling on chain is the overall arching concept. And this is just the first Oracle bit for the project.
Hey Chris, I have a question.
Sure.
I just have a quick question. Are there platforms that are already doing that, kind of like esports gambling?
There are a few that have started, and also NFTs. So giving out NFTs for gaming and esports participation, which is another thing that we toyed with the idea, but hadn't gone down that rabbit hole yet. But there are a few. One that we noticed that's in traditional, using traditional finance like MasterCard and Visa is called G-Loot. So it's using NFTs and I believe some payouts, just USD and CAD type payouts using traditional credit card providers. I'm not aware of all that many, although I did see a couple different hacks in this hackathon that were doing different esports, either results or pooling for this kind of purpose. But I haven't seen any production ready yet.
Gotcha. So I just a quick question follow up on that. How far along are you with the Oracle building?
So we have been able to get results and publish them on chain with the on the Kovan testnet. I wasn't. Our other team member Anar does more of the smart contract coding, so I don't have the full details of it. But his idea was that instead of running our own Oracle, we were going to use one of the Oracle providers. Sorry, I'm trying to remember what they're called, but basically. One of the Oracle nodes would host the connector and push the results on chain as opposed. So basically, we're forwarding results to an Oracle node, and they're pushing those results on chain.
Gotcha. Cool. Thanks.
What was maybe the hardest technical challenge that you guys had to overcome with this one?
So the biggest thing that took us the longest time was actually interacting and pulling the data from the BattleNet APIs. Actually, the interactions with the oracles and feeding the data back was actually the easier part of this hack. So yeah, it was a little bit strange in that our blockers weren't exactly Ethereum or smart contract based. They were more traditional web and API based, just trying to make those calls come. Return values that we're expecting and can format into basically data that we would feed on chain.
Got it.
And
yeah, it sounds like there'll be interest. Go ahead, sorry. Go.
No worries. Is there a reason why you guys chose esports? Like, is there a backstory there?
Yeah, I mean, both Anar and I we're both gamers. We've been involved in StarCraft for a while. Neither of us are like professional gamers, although we have seen players take their play to higher levels. And we also just think that with the explosion of platforms like Twitch and YouTube gaming and all those kinds of things, we think there's an audience and a road for onboarding more people to crypto by using this. One of the things that I like pushing in the crypto space is low risk, basically gaming experimentation, where people aren't putting in millions of dollars necessarily, and we can kind of experiment with where the pressure points and issues for the systems as they're designed in their early forms, and then iterating from there. So.
It's cool. It'd be really great for tourneys, especially. So, great job.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks, Chris. Great presentation. Okay. So we've got 3 teams left, and the next team up is Symfoni, gluing together ETH tooling. So please start your presentation.
Hi there, and thank you for letting us introduce our project. I'm here to present the Symfoni project. The problem today is that when doing an Ethereum project, the work doesn't just go into writing smart contracts and a front end to interact with that backend. You have to facilitate setting up the development node, a staging node, and connecting to a production node. You have to handle the deployment of your smart contracts in each of these environments. You have to let your front-end code be aware of your continuous development of smart contracts in all of these different environments. You have to handle advanced upgrade patterns of your smart contracts. You have to support multiple wallets like MetaMask and Wallet Connect and so on. And you should and need to do testing of both your smart contracts and your front ends in all of these environments. Our goal is to make this experience easier for all developers, especially new developers coming into Ethereum. You should be able to use your time on developing actual smart contracts and your front end instead of setting up tooling and connecting all the different stuff. Developers coming from Java and C# are used to great statically typed libraries, and we wish to bring their expectation of this into the dApp development process so that you get statically typed contracts right in your IDE. The Web3 space has already created great tools for this to solve these different challenges. That's Ethers, Web3 modal, typechain builder, and so on. But we need some glue kind of to just fix it out of the box. Our plugins pushes these tools one step forward towards greatness by making all the smart contracts code instantly available in your IDE. As Steve Jobs would have said it, it just works. So first we need to open up the Symfoni tutorial that we made, and we'll start off by creating a new builder project. When that is done, we'll install the Symfoni plugins and the dependencies. Now we generate the front end. And when that is done, I'll open up VS Code and copy and paste a smart contract called the ballot example into this project. Create the file and paste it in. And as you can see, I can now right away use that contract within my React project, and it's completely statically typed. And this isn't in any way sped up. So I can just say ballot.factory.deploy, and I can see that I need a bytes list. So I use ethers utils format bytes 32 to string, and I'll create two proposals, prop1 and prop2. Just copy and paste this here. And then I'll await my ballot.deployed to see that it's deployed, and then I'll console log out that it's completed. And now we'll test this right away. Click, confirm, bam, deployed. Pretty fast. So now I'll add in a new function. I'll copy and paste in there the give right to vote function into the Solidity contract. So I've extended it. And then I say await my ballot.give right to vote. It's there right away. And it helps me to fill in the correct parameters. I await the transaction, and I console log out the receipts. And I'll go over here and I'll try it again. And I'll deploy the contracts, and I will run the transaction, and there's the receipt.
Hello.
Very
So
cool.
Robin, thank you. Robin, Jon, and Henrik here, two from Norway, one from Germany. Did you see what happened there? Yeah, I can just tell you what's basically or practically happened. We created a builder project, which is a tool for creating smart contracts and compiling smart Solidity files. We included our React plugin with the other builder plugins. Then we started our runtime, and so it compiles and generates code and interfaces for our frontend. We just copy pasted random Solidity contract in, and then this runtime takes processing it. Builder is really pretty fast on this, so and the code generation is also very fast. So it's almost immediately available in your IDE and frontend because it's statically code generated. So yeah, and if we set up deployment, that is also taken care of, and we have both have an instance and a factory. So you have both possibilities to yeah, let users deploy it or deploy it yourself in the backend. And you can also use providers in both providers. So yeah, changes are reflected immediately. So if you change the contract, it's immediately reflected and auto host reloaded into the frontend. Ready for a QA.
This looks great. It looks really useful. And I'm just curious, are you guys smart contract developers? Is this why you realize that this is such a big problem while building stuff all the time?
Yeah, we are creating projects for now. Right now, it's the Norwegian Business Registry and property in Norway. It's the biggest property manager, and patent office in Norway. So we're creating these smart contract projects, and it's not in production yet, but yeah, we are trying to get it there. So yeah, we're definitely seeing the need for this, and we use the hackathon to create it.
Yeah, this is super cool. If you guys had more time, how would you improve your submission?
We definitely want to put up more configuration for more providers, or like just put in default configurations for more providers. So you have both the Web3 model, which practically lets the front end connect to anything, and then the back end can also connect to anything. So use those. Yeah, there's many things there, but also we also wanted to actually reach out to the Textile sponsor. And because we now have this ready in the front end, and we also see the need for example, saving some documents to a centralized storage or somewhere where someone keeps it. So creating patterns for this, so they both can, like, for example, create a hash in a smart contract and then upload it in some centralized storage or some decentralized storage. So many ways. And hard hat, like Builder also came just the day after the deadline. Builder upgraded to hard hat, so we are writing the hard hat upgrade for this plugin already. And yeah, and just getting people to use it, so we can, because we probably have a lot of bugs and many edge cases. So yeah, yeah, definitely. We have many places we want to take it, and we probably use it a lot.
This is fantastic. And could you share how you're thinking about distributing this to more developers, getting more people to use it?
Yeah, so we see that when we are working on our projects, those developers we are talking to don't have any experience with Ethereum. So, and it's very much to set into, and I have to, like, explain all this tooling that's connected and wired up and how it's all working. And if we could just make that simpler so they can join the project and take responsibility for the code and for the solution, that's what we need, actually. So
and other than that, we hope that someone will use it after seeing this video, because it's actually up and working. So anybody can just download it now and try it out. And it's, of course, open source and free and everything.
Amen to that. Great work, guys.
Yeah, definitely tweet it, and then we'll retweet you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Good job.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. So we got 2 teams left, and the next one up is DePay. So Sebastian, please go ahead and play your demo.
Hi everybody, I'm Sebastian from DePay. I'm going to present to you a decentralized payment processing solution that allows developers to easily offer payments to their users. But first, let me take you on a quick journey.
Imagine you are at a very remote location, far away from home. You want to pay for a bottle of water in a grocery store, but the cashier asks you for 1.3 million Laos kip. You don't have any of the currency, but the cashier tells you that there is a currency exchange right next door. Unfortunately, nobody at the currency exchange speaks any English. You leave without the bottle of water. This little journey represents how most payments in the decentralized web feel like. You want to pay for something, you get sent to an exchange, and then you might or might not return to pay for the initially offered service or product.
I'm glad we were able to raise this experience to a new level. We've built an easy to implement, easy to use payment solution, and I'm going to explain to you in detail how that's working.
If you want to receive payments in the decentralized web, you can now use the DePay payment widget. You configure what payment you would like to receive for your service or product. You then place the payment button. And now when your users click that button, they will see an easy-to-use and state-of-the-art payment dialog. In the moment the dialog opens, DePay scans the user's wallet for all assets of value. detects liquidity pools that would allow exchanging the asset to what the seller wants, rates the potential routes, and selects the most efficient route for the user. In this example, it offers to pay in Uni tokens. The seller requested 10 compound tokens, but because the user does not have any compound tokens, nor enough Ether, DePay suggests to use Uni tokens as the means of payment. Swapping it via Uniswap to compound and sending the requested compound to the seller, all in one transaction. If the seller asks for a token the user actually has in his wallet, DePay is going to suggest to transfer that token directly, as it would be the most efficient route. But the user doesn't have to stick to the pre-selected route. Maybe I want to hang on to my DAI and my Ether, so I can just select another token as a means of payment. Hey, finally I can get rid of my kick token. Awesome. Okay, now let's pay. Wait a little, and done. That was simple. And there is so much more, like the wallet connect process or the wallet installation process, the token approval process, a link to compare swap prices, gas estimates, and network fee configuration. And two more things: token offerings and token swaps.
We would love to see you start using DePay. Reach out and we're going to help you implement it. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Sebastian. Over to the judges for comments and questions.
Hi, Sebastian. This is did you build this on your own?
Yes.
Oh, wow. It seems very useful.
So do we think?
I guess how would you roll it out and kind of start getting folks to use it?
Well, getting in contact with people, like if you get started in the scene, you have connections to people that already have built the apps and they kind of require certain payments. And I think the very first step is just like to contact them and ask them, hey, look, this is something that is going to improve your payment system for your users. So how about you just start using it? And that way, you're also going to improve the product on its own. Like with the first 10 users or platforms using the payment, you're going to just improve it and scale that way.
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian, this is pretty cool. Can users set rules like, for example, I don't want to touch these tokens?
Actually, during implementation, it was like an idea to somehow store configuration of particular users so that the widget always gonna use certain presettings for payments, just to make it even more convenient, because convenience is kind of what we're going for here. Yes.
Do you guys charge a fee?
No. For direct transfers, there's no fee. There's a discussion, or there's the idea that because of the way swaps are calculated and the fact that you see a certain payment price in it once, and you always have this up to 1% slippage, which is also a maximum. The idea is to potentially keep the diff that comes with a swap and use that in order to have to fund further development of the protocol.
Sorry, last question from me. So do you need to approve? Do you need to give like an infinite approval to use, any tokens in your account? How does that work from a user experience perspective? And also, is there a trust assumption there that like you could spend someone's funds?
You need to approve every single token, but we're going for only needing to approve every token once, because we want to support multiple exchanges. And during the hackathon, Uniswap and Mooniswap have been implemented, and we are going for a single token approval. So because that's like a technical boundary that you can't break in Ethereum 1 at least. But we try to go for one single approval per token. But it should be, then we can use it to pipe it to through any exchange.
Yeah, this is super cool, Sebastian. I mean, do you see, I think you mentioned it, like you're framing it as payments, but like in terms of sort of like, I mean, do you see any other applications for this? Like I see something along the lines of like, say, Gitcoin grants, where you're like almost like, you know, donating your spare change, right, to some extent.
That idea actually came up during implementation too. I talked about the configuration part, and an idea has been pitched in the Discord, which was configuring to send the difference as a contribution to NGOs. So that could easily be implemented too, storing it as part of the user configuration and have the smart contract send those small amounts as a contribution.
Interesting. Yeah, loads more of that to come, I'm sure. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian.
Thanks, Sebastian.
Okay. Okay, thanks very much. We're going to move on to the next presentation, which is AcceptEth. So Dawson, please go ahead and play your demo when you're ready.
Hello, my name is Dawson, and I'm the sole developer on AcceptEth. AcceptEth is a website for accepting crypto payments. When you come to AcceptEth.com, you can create a UI like this for any wallet address. We support Ethereum and several other cryptocurrencies, and it's simple to set up and as quick as 60 seconds. Let me give you a demo here and tell you how I was inspired to build this. GiveWell is a charity platform that aggregates and recommends the highest impact charities out there in the world. They accept donations via cryptocurrency, but unfortunately they've just pasted their wallet addresses here. The issue with this is that it's ripe for mistake. As you can see here, I've tried to copy already. I've left off one letter. I could do that just as easily here and accidentally forget a letter at the beginning. In addition to copy-paste issues, which of course you can work around if you're extremely careful, this is very difficult to pay to from a mobile wallet. There is no QR code for this. AcceptEth fixes this issue. Let me show you how. I'm going to go in as if I was GiveWell, trying to replace this component on my website. What you want to do is copy your addresses. Let's start from the top. Again, AcceptEth.com. Let's try to build one. Whoops, this was left over from our previous attempt. So when you land here, you're able to add cryptocurrencies, paste them in. Already you can see we've created this URL, which will take users to the portal to pay this address. But we're going to continue here and add the rest of the addresses. Almost there. And what we've done here is we've URL encoded each and every one of these wallet addresses into an AcceptEth URL. And what this AcceptEth URL does is it allows you to then get paid to any of those wallets. As you can see here, this text input is easily copyable so that there's no issues. Every part of it is copied. In addition, you can easily pay to this from a mobile wallet by just scanning this QR code. Up here in the URL, you'll see every wallet is URL encoded, which means it's stateless. Nowhere is there a database that saves your information. Your wallet addresses are not associated with one another, and your wallet addresses are not associated with your IP address. Everything goes to the URL. The last feature I'd like to show off is the ability to then validate an address. Let's go see if this Ethereum address is legit or not. Huh, looks like it is. With all these transactions, I can assume I didn't leave off a letter or mess up at all here, so I can copy it and go pay from my wallet. That's AcceptEth. Next steps are I'd like to be adopted by a platform like GiveWell to replace their UI component here. In addition, after this, I'd like to be able to accept any ERC20 token and auto-convert it to ETH or DAI, depending upon what the nonprofit is interested in. They're not well aware of things like Uniswap, so being able to auto-swap on their behalf before it ever reaches their wallet would really allow them to accept more funds. And the more funds, the more people get helped with charities like this. Thanks for listening. If you're interested in seeing more about this, go to accepteth.com. On accepteth.com, there's a nice description, tells you how to use it, and lets you go ahead right at it for free. Thank you for your time. Hey, folks.
Hey, Dawson, this is really cool. I think it's super useful and helpful for folks, like you mentioned, the nonprofits and just individuals who want to kind of welcome cryptocurrency payments on their website, but makes it a lot more easy for them through the QR code and through what you've built. I guess, what have you built this all through during the hackathon?
Yep. Yeah, I implemented it across the 2 to 3 week period. I got started a little bit late, and that's why I wanted to mention for sure the things that I hope to incorporate one day that I wasn't yet able to.
Very cool. Yeah, I totally use it.
Thank you.
And you know, are there any other sort of dabs or like companies, especially in Web 2, that you think this might be useful for, aside from nonprofits? Like, I think, you know, it's something that, you know, when you see this, you're like, why isn't this built already? Why aren't more people doing this? Because, you know, we do see it as a common issue for a lot of people.
Very good question. And I was surprised by the answer to this question as well, which is that there are similar solutions for this on a centralized basis. So Coinbase, for instance, has a product that's to support wallets you have with them to accept commerce payments. That's called Coinbase Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that the product, as you've seen here, is especially useful for NGOs or donations. It would need to have some type of validation process in order to be useful for a corporation. In that, at the moment, it is a way to display your addresses, but it's not a way to query the blockchain for any updates to those addresses. So I think with those additional features, it would be very useful for what you just mentioned. And yeah, I actually had a pretty bad experience during the process after I started this project, paying with crypto on a site that used something like this. It was like on overstock.com, it takes 3 days for the crypto to become USD on Overstock, which is crazy because the crypto payment took an hour or less. You know, so.
How long have you been hacking on blockchains for?
I've kind of felt like a poser in the blockchain scene since 2014. So I've always been a web person. And in 2014, I made a bunch of like really minimal like trading scripts with JavaScript. And so the reason I always felt like a poser is because I never understood protocol stuff. To this day, I get imposter syndrome quite a bit when I start into hackathons like this, for instance. So I really focused on the areas that I know I have a skill set in, which is dynamic web apps, React projects. And I think that there luckily is a gap there to be filled of folks who are really into protocol design or really into implementation of smart contracts, but don't necessarily have the interest or drive to build out UIs and good user experiences.
Yeah, that's well said, and I totally agree. I think we all kind of suffer from imposter syndrome in different ways, right? So if you want to get into the protocol stuff, feel free to, you know, but you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very clean. It's very easy to use. I think it's just really nice to see like more interfaces that could bridge, you know, the non-crypto folks with the crypto market. And, you know, generally what we see in the space is that people who are too deep in the space and really aren't trying to bring in new people. And that's what we need also. So this is great.
Yeah.
Thank you for the support.
Yeah. Keep building.
I will.
Awesome job.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks, Dawson.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay. So we've actually got one more project who needed to be moved into our room. And judges, I've been asked to ask you to please save and then refresh your judging interface, because this last team is going to appear in your list to record scores. So assuming that's
Is there a save
all,
button?
It auto saves, is what I remember. There's also.
Okay, Jacob, maybe you can clarify.
No one really knows. I would just refresh and see what happens.
Oh no.
All right, well, that means we can blame you if it doesn't work.
Dangerous.
All right, put it on me, the guy who didn't write the code. That's fine.
Yeah, that's how this works.
Does
Speaking of
anyone
writing
refresh?
code, Wallet Wizard, Sam, please take it away. And I think, we're gonna play your video. Jacob, do you mind pulling that up?
Oh, all right. Sorry, I didn't notice that. Everybody on the judge side, did it show up for you guys? All right.
I haven't refreshed yet. Has people refreshed?
Who wants to refresh
try,
first?
Joyce?
Oh, no one's
Joyce
refreshing.
first.
I'll refresh. Here we go.
So suspenseful.
Project name? Yeah.
Hold on.
Wallet Wizard.
Gotcha.
My page isn't loading. I don't know what's going on.
That's also normal.
Oh, I found it. Wallet Wizard.
Excellent.
And your scores are there? Okay.
Yeah.
Following.
All right, when everybody's ready, let me know.
Yeah, you go ahead. We're just refreshing the background.
All right.
My partner Ryan Cordell. We spend a lot of our time contributing to Ethereum.org, and one of the things we think about most is just how can we improve user onboarding to Ethereum. It's a lot of new tech, a lot of new tools to learn, and it can be incredibly intimidating, particularly with mainnet gas prices this year, to be downloading a wallet, to be receiving ETH, to be sending ETH, playing with dApps for the first time with real value. So with this project, we were hoping to create kind of an interactive tutorial to demonstrate just what it's like interacting with the Ethereum network. So here the user can land on our homepage, immediately get started, and get taken through this wizard-like tutorial experience where they can see a wallet getting created. They can learn what exactly that is. They can see, the address we just generated for them. They can even receive some ETH. Here we're using the Goerli testnet, and shout out to Raul Jordan of the Prismatic team for helping us set up a faucet. But we actually send the user right in our site some testnet ETH. You can see we got a little CAPTCHA just to protect ourselves from spamming the testnet. But then the user can see their recent activity. They can verify on a real live website that this was, propagated to the network, that it's a confirmed transaction at some point. And this is really where we're at in terms of the flow. But where we'd like to go with this is really just continuing to provide more tangible experiences for someone to interact with the network, actually sending funds and transactions to other users, potentially swapping tokens or interacting with dApps on a testnet, just so, again, they can get a feel of what it's going to be like in the real mainnet experience. So a little way to get them familiar with the technology, and then send them along their way to actually, download a real live secure wallet, and to get up and running. So yeah, would love to hear feedback you guys have, and hopefully someday soon you'll see this type of experience right on Ethereum.org. All right, thanks.
All right, over to judges for questions and comments.
Hey Sam, this is cool. I wanted to ask kind of how are you thinking about bringing it to the folks that you're targeting?
How do we think about bringing it to them?
Yeah, it sounds like, this is a great portal for folks who are interested in learning about cryptocurrency, and you're walking them through with this kind of detail of a very nice UI guide interface. I guess how are you thinking about getting traction, if you thought that at all?
Oh yeah, no. Well, I am in the fortunate position of working at the Ethereum Foundation on Ethereum.org. So one of the few privileges of that is like, if I build it, they will come. People just kind of show up to the website already.
Exactly.
So yeah, marketing is like the one piece we don't really need to worry about.
This is the unfair advantage for you for the hackathon.
It is, yeah. Yeah, distribution is a key advantage for us.
Yeah, gotcha. That's cool. Good to meet you.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I think just to start, yeah, in terms of getting it to people, like we have a find a wallet and compare wallets experience on the website. So it's really, I guess, aiming to be like a lower barrier or a lower friction point to just test something out. And for a lot of people who come to the site who don't even know what a wallet is yet, right? To kind of give that, that tangible experience for them. So adding it across the website and on those wallet-centric pages, probably.
Cool. I think what Joyce is saying is that she wants you to start a TikTok account with this, really.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's not a bad idea at all.
That's another good option. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. And
get on it.
Yes. And what other kind of user journeys would you sort of feature with this? Like which other applications, what do you think is important in Ethereum to highlight today?
Well, with context of like how Ethereum.org exists today and what we've seen is like a lot of user journeys are focused around finding a wallet, downloading that, getting ETH, receiving ETH, buying ETH, and then dApps. What are dApps? What are example dApps? What can I play around with and test just to learn about? I mean, most people just don't come with context on the use cases that Ethereum is good for. So for us, it's been a lot of thinking about just how can we make testnets more accessible and how can we make them actually like useful, particularly for onboarding as a place where people can risk-free see some of the amazing things that are built, and particularly the stuff that I think is like interactive to a degree, so they can see, hey, this is like a bustling peer-to-peer network with all this activity. Like we've done work elsewhere with Ethereum Studio, for instance, which is a developer IDE to build dApps. And it's pretty boring just to build an app that only interacts with itself. So finding ways that we can have users even like interact and communicate with each other is something we'd be hopeful to do, where you like, I don't know, send some testnet ETH to this other user and they can draw you some art or issue you an NFT. But yeah, we're hoping to kind of eventually add some gamification elements for it to say, okay, maybe read this article around how to protect your private keys, and then we can issue this like POAP to give you a badge of honor for learning about this stuff, a way to kind of push them through the journey in that learning experience.
Super cool. Look forward to seeing it more built out.
Okay, well, if there's no more questions, then I think that's it. And that's it for this judging session as well. Thanks so much, Sam.
Yeah, thanks to judges for pushing through. I'm sure the last one's never easy. But yeah, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody. Thank you to everyone that presented today that's still on the call, and anyone watching this later. Really appreciate all the work you put into all your projects, and love to finally see the work product. And thank you to our judges who took so much time out of your day. Really appreciate it. I believe Kartik will follow up by email or in chat if there's anything else that we need for you, from you, or any other questions that you have. So thanks so much.
Thank you guys. Awesome job.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Jacob.
Have a great day.